Today I'm starting a new project from scratch and I thought it would be interesting to bring you along the whole process from the first idea to the final result. I recently picked up the Tascam FR AV2 as a lightweight and affordable 2-input recorder for when I'm traveling and I don't want to carry my full sound kit. The goal with this recorder is to experiment with different mic setups like stereo MS, AB with Omnis, ORTF, or even using it as a drop-in recorder for remote setups. For my MS setup, I'm using a mini CMIT and a Schoeps figure 8, both packed into a Cinela Cosi. I gathered a small rig quick release system and some hardware, and I'm planning to mount Cinela on top of the grip with the Tascam positioned sideways for better access. Before jumping to a CAD software, I always start with a rough sketch to get a clearer idea of what I'm building, and even without exact measurements at this stage, sketching helps visualize the project and spot any potential issues. I'm planning to have the hand grip with an open top, where the Rycote quick release can nest in, with holes for easy access to release mechanism. The main tube will be hollow to fit a bolt for the quick release, and a square mount will hold the Tascam on the side. I finished the sketch design with some screw holes, notches, or any small adjustment that comes to mind. A digital caliper is important. It lets me get precise measurements of the hardware while I'm creating the model. Alright, time to bring this into the software. So let's start a new project in Fusion 360. Starting out with a blank page can be intimidating, that's why doing a sketch beforehand is really important and makes you save time in the end. Meanwhile, I use my caliper to measure specific parts of the quick release. I start by modeling the main tube and extruding cavities that will nest the Rycote quick release and the bolt to attach it. I then do the internal structure that the quick release will rest onto, and I finish this part by adding a long chamfer. Okay, now let's work on the side plate that the Tascam will mount on. I want that plate to be slightly offset towards the end and the upper side. I then extrude the rectangle to blend with the tube and add an inset to mount the quick release. Add some holes for the bolts, and I use symmetrical spacing to ensure the holes align perfectly. I finish that part by adding countersink for the bolts and cleaning the parts with fillets. When I have a part I'm happy with, it's time to make a first prototype. I export my 3D model to STL file and import it in the slicing software before it can be printed. I add a fuzzy skin feature to add texture to the handle part of the grip. Then I slice it and check for any slicing errors. I always use end of spool and scrap filaments for prototyping and will use the more expensive nylon for the final part. I do a test fit to confirm the dimensions and functionality to see if it needs any adjustments. So far everything works well. The only tweak I want to make is adding set screw holes to lock the bolt inside the tube more securely. Now it's time to print the final version in nylon. I'm quite happy with how the final piece turned out. Everything seems to be working as planned. If you've made it this far into the video, thanks so much for watching, and let's wrap things up with a 30-second soundscape from the cold and snowy Canadian wilderness.